Hello, welcome. I didn't realize I had already pressed play, but welcome. Okay, things are recording. We are good to go. Got my candle lit. Wearing my elemental grow shirt. I don't know if you guys have seen these yet. I was selling them around Christmas, but I love it. Um, you are what you eat, so eat magic. I love it. I made quite a few things last year, just like merch, not because I'm a merch girl or anything, but I figured if I was buying somebody's stuff, it may as well be something that I love. So I created a store and created my own designs, and that's how I bought clothes and gifts and things like that. So, yeah, you guys can check that out at elementalgrowth.org and then just scroll down to the shop. I didn't update anything yet. It's still got the Christmas stuff, but that's okay. You'll still find what you need there, especially if you like this style and comfy clothes, because that's what I'm all about here. Getting out of that comfort zone, but being comfortable while you do it. Oh man, just blew out my candle. All right, you guys. So I do have quite a few things on my list today to go over. One of them is nutrition and why that is so important because let me just grab the lighter here. Um, yeah, I've got quite a few clients on the go right now that are still struggling in this area, and I totally get it, and I think that I can help even more of you by bringing it to this call today. So I'm going to go through some of the resources I've already put out there so you guys can catch up, and then I'm going to dive in and explain a little bit more what each thing means and how it is that you can take actionable steps in your own life to get some results. Because this is really important stuff right now, especially with if you're in Canada right now, the truckers are doing a convoy, man. They're coming from all angles, meeting up in Ottawa, and they say that until the mandates are done, until Justin Trudeau changes things and allows people freedom, that they're gonna stay right there. And yeah, so that could mean shortages and things like that. And me personally, I'm secure, I'm safe in this area because I know how to take care of myself. I know how to be sustainable. I know how to make proper food choices. And I want that for you guys too, so that you can get past the anxiety, right? I am certified in nutrition. I could talk about nutrition all day, every day. I am very passionate about it. But what my actual purpose is here is to help you guys, master your mental health. I'm here to help you ascend anxiety. I'm here to help you turn trauma into something more beautiful, turn the pain into power, to heal the trauma, free the trauma without all the drama. And so, in order to do my job, that means having you guys feel secure in your health, in your nutrition. And so, I'm going to light this candle one more time, but away from my mouth because I'm apparently really excited today. All right, let's tune in with a little meditation. That is fun. All right, we're good to go. I think we're good, you guys. I think we're good. New candle is all sparkly and shiny. I just love it. And then Tristan bought a new and full moon candle so that we have the proper colors on those moons to share with you guys. It's awesome. Okay, so let's start with this little meditation that I've got here. I think it's really important, in these times, really any time, if you're feeling triggered, if you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling like indecisive, overwhelmed, if you're feeling pain inside your body for any reason, chances are it's because you're tense. And so in this meditation today, I'm going to help you guys relax. Plus, relaxing means you're going to get the most out of this call today. It also means you're going to get the most out of your day in general, right? You're going to retain more information. You're going to learn the lessons that life is presenting you. It's like right when we think we got everything together, that's when life tests us. Usually within 24 to 48 hours, you're going to get that test. So, yeah, let's ease into that. part of that means knowing what's to come, knowing that there's always obstacles, knowing that there is no good decision. There is no good or bad. You know, it's all just a mindset. And what one person says is good, another person may see as bad. And that can get really, really confusing. So it's really important to realize that choice is the power, not what the decision is. It's not about the decision. It's about making a choice and taking responsibility for that choice, knowing that whatever choice comes with its own set of obstacles. Maybe it comes with somebody's disapproval. Maybe it comes with other consequences. You know, regardless, there's going to be obstacles. And we can know that, it does take away some of the anxiety. And when we can take personal responsibility, you know, that does free us. And so today I'm going to just walk you through, you know, a little guided meditation for finding that calm, that peace, that place inside of yourself where it all is as it should be. You know, you felt that before. I'm going to help you get back to that and bring you to a place where you can revisit that at any time, you know, because it's always there with you. Okay, so I invite you now, close your eyes, roll your neck. You know, oftentimes we're holding a lot of weight on our shoulders, so you can roll them back. You can do some neck rolls, right? Feels good. Another one I want you to do is take your hands, put them on your shoulders here, and I want you to breathe in and out. This is going to be the breath of fire that we do here, okay? So breath of fire is inhaling and exhaling through your nose. When we go to one side, we inhale. When we go to the other side, we exhale. In and out through your nose. This is the detoxing breath. Once we detox, we'll find that calm a lot easier, okay? So I'm rolling my chair. I got a flat my feet on the floor. Sorry. Try to stretch as far as you can to each side. Keep your elbows straight and up, shoulders down in alignment. Open that heart. You're going to start feeling it in your heart. Your heart is breaking open now. That's for you. Sometimes God breaks our heart open over and over until we learn to keep it open. So let go of those blocks. Those blocks come from fear. That fear is not serving you. Those blocks come from worry and doubt. That's not serving you. Let it go. Make the choice to break yourself open today. When you feel that tug on your heart, raise your arms up, shake it all out. Right, bring your hands into heart center here. This one I do like coming into Buddha position. I forgot this chair moved. Deep breaths. Find your breath. Don't try to change it or edit it. Just find your breath. Notice it. Is it shallow? Deep? Is it through the mouth or through the nose? Is it consistent or does it waver? Just notice it. Be present. Say thank you for your breath. Thank you for letting that life force energy in. Thank you for exhaling all that's no longer serving. I want you to use your third eye. You can bring your hands up to your third eye. I like to rub my third eye. Wake it up. Make it present with you. You can do circles up and down. Bang on it. Whatever you like. Just set it there gently. Find a place. I want you to start visualizing yourself walking through a forest. Beautiful trail there. You walk down the trail, you see a garden. Beautiful garden. Smell the flowers, the fruits. You can feel the wind on your face and your hair. Feel the soil on your feet, nourishing you, connecting you. Feel a sense of peace come over you. As you walk through the garden, you see a spring. You feel the cold water. You take a drink. As you take a drink from this cold, fresh water, living water spring, feel that life force, the power of the water rush through, rejuvenating every cell. Start to see this crystal light emerging from you, protecting you, connecting you. No matter where you go from this moment forward, that light is with you. All you have to do is remember to turn it on. When we open our eyes, I want you to remember that feeling of connectedness, of protection. I want you to revisit that place, that garden, that living water stream. Anytime you feel indecisive, anytime you feel overwhelmed or stressed out, anytime you feel triggered, I want you to remember that place. I want you to turn that light on. You know, break open your heart. Keep it open. Protect yourself with that white crystalline light naturally there. You know, it's there inside of you, just waiting to come out. Now I'm going to start with our nutrition stuff, and from nutrition, I'm going to move into fears of change, passion, versus purpose, and then turning passion into purpose. And then we'll tap into some responsibility and seed stuff. Uh, Following that, if we have time, I'm going to do my best to make the most out of our time together, of course. Um, all right, so if you guys want to go to my website, elementalgrowth.org, and hit the resources button up at the top screen, it's to the right. If you're staring at your computer, it's to the right of the logo at the very top, resources. And you scroll down through resources and you'll see that there's a how to get healthy and stay healthy naturally article. So this is our nutrition guide on the Sociodelic website. That's what it's called, the Psychonauts Guide to Nutrition. Um, on the Elemental Growth website. This is what it's titled. And we don't have a video for this one yet because Tristan and I have been working on a food apocalypse documentary for you guys instead. Um, so, it's a lot of work to do that type of stuff, so it doesn't happen overnight. So, I give a lot of background in this around the industry. The first thing that I want to say to you guys, though, is read aloud this quote by Wendell Berry. It says, "People are fed by the food industry, which pays no attention to health, and treated by the health industry, which pays no attention to food." It was this quote that inspired me to really get into nutrition. I found that that was really the gap between, was actually talking about the food. When I was getting sober in 2014, when I made that decision to get sober, I took a year off of making money. I took a year off of junk food. I went from working a decade in the hospitality and tourism industry, spoiling myself with whatever, mouth pleasure I wanted, into going completely off of everything. I turned my addiction to alcohol, and partying and like just that social life, into an obsession with food. And that meant that for a year, this obsession had me going into grocery stores, or I was making this decision, obviously, but it was an obsession. I realized that. And I would go into a grocery store, and if I bought a sweet potato, for example, I would just buy the one, bring it home, and then I would sprout it. And if it sprouted and grew leaves within a few days or so, then I would go back and I would buy more of those sweet potatoes because I knew that it was alive. I knew that there was life force energy. I knew I could trust that food from that store. I would do the same thing at the bulk food store. I would get nuts and seeds and beans, and I would sprout them. When you sprout food like that, you get 10 times the nutritional value. So we all know that beans, nuts, and seeds, they're part of the G bombs. G bombs meaning like greens, berries, onions, mushrooms, G, BOM, and then beans. Yeah, so yeah, you got it anyway. So yeah, those are like the healthiest foods that you can have. And onions, it doesn't have to be onions per se. That was just like the one teacher's acronym. But essentially, it's anything from that family. So it could be garlic, it could be leeks, but it's something from the alum family that would give you that nutrition, that protection using food to get you through your day. And berries are another good one. Beans are really, really good. Beans, nuts, seeds, they're all the same thing. They're all life force energy. They're all seeds, and they all grow. So when we're sprouting these things, they end up giving us 10 times the nutritional value. So you think already this thing is a superfood. Now I sprout it and I get 10 times that. That means you have to eat less food. You're getting less calories. You don't have to count carbs. You don't have to do anything because this is a nutritionally dense food. You shouldn't be counting carbs, you guys. You should be counting nutrients. Okay, so I really hope you're taking away something really important here now. It's not all about mouth pleasure. It's about the nutrition. It's about having that energy. It's about your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to eat right? Do you want to eat right so that you can keep up with your kids? Do you want to eat right so you can protect yourself from sickness? Do you want to eat right so that you can get yourself healthier? Do you want to get healthy so that you can look good in a bikini? You know, whatever it is, like focus on that why, dig into it. You want to do a dance with your daughter? That is a really strong why. Because you're overweight, you're not able to do the same moves. You need to have high energy for that. You need to um you need to be fit for that. It takes a lot of practice. You need to be able to have that endurance and that stamina. There's you know another client that I've got right now who for her it's that I don't want to give away too many details, but essentially it's like the food addiction, just eating it like eating feelings, eating if, for that pleasure, for that dopamine hit. And again, you don't want to be doing that either. Obviously I had to give that up. It's not easy to do, but you have to dig into that why. The why being, you don't want other people's judgments. That's not good enough. It has to be for you. It has to be deep down inside of you. Why do you actually want this? Do you want to have a legacy for your grandkids? That is a deep why. You want to be around and teach them lessons and be a part of their life? That is a deep why. That's going to mean something. My why I wanted to get healthy was I had a spiritual awakening. There was something inside of me that said, look, Ashley, you lived through all this stuff. You lived through a car accident where, there was a complete explosion. You could have died. You lived through being bit by a poisonous spider that, kept you in the hospital for 2 weeks. You lived through 3 attempted suicides. You lived through rape. You lived through sexual trauma as a child. You lived through narcissistic abuse. You live through being beaten. You've lived through a lot of things. This is for a reason. And you have to be sober and heal those parts of yourselves in order to do anything. And that was enough for me. I was like, okay, if nothing's going to kill me, then I need to do something that's worth living for. And so I made that decision. Now I'm going to live. And that meant to me, like, look, you got to quit drinking. So I had to channel that into something, and it just happened to be nutrition because I love nature. Because some of my best memories were being on a farm, you know, the family that raised my brother, they lived on a farm just down the street from us, and I grew up in a farming village, so there was a lot of it, and I wanted to learn that stuff because it's the only thing that really made sense to me, the only thing that really brought me joy. And so I focused in on that. It became an obsession. Obviously, I'm not saying it's a healthy obsession. I was, limiting my caloric intake because I wanted to be sure of the food. This being said, I was also doing a lot of working out in that time, and I was doing a lot of emotional healing too. I was doing the work of studying and knowing what I was doing. This is why I never ended up in a hospital or anything because of it. I was doing the right thing for me. It just wasn't all exactly in the healthiest way. And I hope that you guys can learn from my experiences. This is why I write them out so that you guys don't have to do the same experimentation as I did. So you guys don't have to take the year off work and put everything into learning this the way I did. And the truth is, I didn't even end there. I ended up going and getting certified in nutrition because it mattered to me that much at that point in time. I needed to be taken seriously. People just thought I was crazy, because they saw the obsession. They're like, oh, she doesn't drink anymore, but she's crazy about food. You know, it's like I didn't want that. I wanted to be taken seriously. So I went and I got the certification, and I got it from one of the best schools in the world, if not the best. It's the number one nutrition school in the world, the largest anyway, which means the most graduates, and they've been running for 35, 40 years now. If you guys want that information of where I went to school, or you're interested in that for yourself or for a future business, let me know. I'll hook you up, okay? All right. So Food-like products are a problem. Cancer, obesity, mental health, addiction, these are all rooted in global industrial disease. The facts are that nearly 30% of the world's population are obese. Even more are diagnosed with other preventable diseases, and yet only 3% of our healthcare dollars are spent on preventing diseases. So, Dr. Mark Hyman, he actually said that this is the first generation where children are not expected to outlive their parents. You know what that means, parents? You need to really care about your children's health. And in order to do that, you need to set a good example. That means putting down the chocolate bars and going and getting some cacao paste and making your own chocolate with them. Then you're getting the quality time and you're getting the really high nutrient dense cacao. That's the way to do it. You know, um, it means putting down the potato chips and learning how to make what we call dino chips. Dino chips are kale chips, and there's so many delicious ways to make those up. And it's like I can't even tell you all the nutrition that's in kale because it wouldn't matter. What matters is that you guys look that up and do that work yourself because that's when it's going to make sense when you make the commitment and you make the investment. So I encourage you guys find the alternatives. What are the alternatives? What are you eating already? What are you spending your money on? This is another thing I do in my coaching practice is an audit. Where is it you guys are spending your money? You can tell me your priorities all you want, but until I know where it is you're spending your money, it doesn't matter what you say. The way you spend your money, that's the vote for the world you want to live in. That's the vote towards your priorities. That's the vote towards your goals. And if the way you're spending your money and the way you're spending your time, even more important than money, that's what dictates your success here. So make sure that it's all aligned, that how you spend your time, how you spend your money is aligned with what your goals are. Very, very important. It's all a vote for the world that you want to live in, and you have the choice to create that world. It's a choice to buy that $3 ice cream or to buy some bananas, freeze them, and put them in a blender and make your own ice cream. And then you're getting all the nutrients from bananas. We even put spirulina in with our frozen bananas when we make homemade ice cream, and we call it Hulk ice cream for the kids. Then they eat it. Right, so we start out with this perfect body, right? Yet after years of overworking, forgetting to hydrate, not getting enough quality sleep, and eating foods that aren't suitable for human consumption, like let's get this right, you guys, these are food-like products. This isn't real food. And the body just can't keep up. It can't cleanse and do its job if you're taking in more toxins than it knows what to do with, right? This is how it turns into fat in your body, right? Your liver can't handle everything. So then it stores it away into a fat cell so that you can deal with it later. But if you keep doing that, then you're getting more and more fat cells. And then people go on some crazy fat diet, lose a bunch of weight, and then they get sick. And then they revert. They get sick because now those toxins are now being released and the body's detoxing them, but it was stored away for a long time. You have to go through that and then you stay the course. You don't go back and revert. But I understand the psychological effects, right? Psychologically, you're like, oh my God, I just did all this work and now I'm sick. So why don't I just keep doing it? Why me? Blah, 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 blah. It's like it's happening for you and it's happening for a reason, So just make it through the hell. This is like a psychedelic trip, right? You go through the hell before you get to experience heaven, before you get that euphoria, before you actually hit your goals, whatever they are, and be able to sustain those goals, even more important. That means going through a little hell, It doesn't mean you have to stay in that hell, but you do have to go through it. Yes, today our society is overwhelmed with emotional pain, opiates, alcohol, and addictive food-like substances. Sugar is 8 times more addictive than heroin, more addictive than gaming, social media, and Netflix too. Yet our medical advisors are diagnosing our total normal reaction to societal pressures and shitty food as an illness, and it's not. A lot of the people in the WHO look at their body, okay? They are not healthy people. They don't have healthy thoughts. They likely don't have a healthy diet or schedule or routine of any sort. Why are you trusting them with your health? You know your body better than anybody else does. You know yourself and you know what you need to do. You just need to take the minute out and ask yourself what you need to do and then do that thing. Start with that one thing and do it. You don't ever look at don't go to the government and ask them for a lesson in earning money because they're not entrepreneurs, they're government workers. You want to go to somebody who's earning the money, really good money, helping people, doing something that you want to be doing. That is who you go to, and that's who you ask to help you, and that's who you take advice from. You don't take advice from the government worker that is getting paid a wage because they've sold out. They're going to teach you how to sell out. They're going to give you shitty advice passed down by the government that wants to keep you stuck in this system. They don't want you to succeed, even though the person themselves, I'm sure, wants you to succeed. They've already sold out and they're not doing it. Go to the person who is doing it and who's successful in doing it. That's who you learn from. It's the same with food. Take health advice from that doctor that is healthy as fuck. That's who you get your advice from. From that coach, from that weight loss professional, from the personal trainer. You get your health advice from the person you want to be most like. And if it's not from them because, they're a high level influencer and don't have the time to talk to somebody who's not paying them, then get the money to pay them for their time, or find somebody that can help you as you build up to that level. Does that make sense, you guys? This is really important stuff. The average American takes 11 prescription drugs in a year. This doesn't even compare to the over-the-counter stuff. Like I go see my family and they're like, oh my God, I got a cramp. Here's some Advil. Here's some Celexa or whatever and blah, blah, blah. And oh my God, it's crazy. You know, yeah, it's just insane. So 11 prescription drugs are the average, all right? And they come with so many side effects. And solutions can be found in nature. It's the same with these over-the-counter drugs. Just because they're over-the-counter and you don't need a prescription for it does not mean it's safe. Tylenol actually decreases empathy in a person. Did you know that? So it's actually numbing you. It's numbing you emotionally. Like that, how messed up is that? And then what happens when you're numbed emotionally? Then you go get an SSRI. You're just feeding the system. Spend your money on what aligns to the life you want to be in. Who is it that you want to be and align to that? That means scheduling things in. That means spending your money in a way that's aligned. Foods heal and strengthen us from the inside and will naturally reduce the need for medical interventions down the road. Yeah, I want to also bring attention to the fake fads like low carb diet. We really do require the fiber found in whole foods. Like a juicing diet is not sustainable. You need that fiber still in your body and you want a whole fiber. So you look for whole grains, whole foods. This doesn't mean everything in whole food store is healthy for you. It's not. And likely a lot of that stuff you can find naturally at a better price. If you just go foraging or start your own garden or connect with a farmer or a neighbor that's already doing this stuff, barter with them on some level. What you do want to make sure you're doing is getting in whole foods and whole grains because these have been a essential element in the human diet since early civilization. This is really important stuff. It's estimated, in fact, that humans were eating grains as far back as 105,000 years ago. If low carb diets make you fat, then Asia would be full of obese people. That's not the truth. And if a diet high in protein really makes people fit, then we would see the result of that in North America. And we don't. We don't see that. We see that keto diet, which was actually made for epileptics, that it was for that kind of those brain traumas. It was to help them that they need more healthy fats in their diet. The reason why so many people are going on keto, and like I love Joe Rogan, don't get me wrong, I had some doubts there in the beginning of COVID. I did stop watching him and being that loyal follower, I guess we'll say. But like he came back around and started speaking truth again, started finding the truth again. It used to be Joe Rogan questions everything, and then it turned into um, something else. But he's back to him, which I like. But here's the truth, he did share a lot of stuff on keto, and it turned into a fad. And a lot of people were getting sick because they're eating bacon all freaking day, every day. And they're like, I'm on a keto diet. And then they get sick. And it's like, no, it's not meant to be a long-term solution. You can get great benefit off of it if that's the route you want to go, but make sure that it's healthy whole foods that you're going for, and know that it's not a sustainable thing for long periods of time, that you're not keto for life. You're keto, maybe 90% of the time, and 10% of the time you go off that diet and you do something a little bit different. Get in those whole grains that are full of protein. They're full of vitamins and minerals and micronutrients that are really essential in the diet, and you can get them from like ancient grains, quinoa from of course, like grains are a seed too, right? You can sprout them. There's a book called Sprout Man, I think it's called Sprout Man, but it's Sprout Man's Kitchen or something like that, and they actually just sprout all of their grains and then blend them in a blender, and that makes their bread and crackers and everything. I think it's called Sprout Bros now, is the kids of Stephen, who is the dad that wrote the book that I'm speaking on. But his kids now live through the legacy, and I think they're called Sprout Bros now. But tons of recipes and resources, they're available, different ways you can get get these whole grains into your diet. And yeah, sprouting them is great, but you can make breads too. Like we do sourdough. We consistently have sourdough on the go, and we plan what we're going to eat the day before, so if we're having a sandwich the next day as part of our meal, I will use the starter and prepare for bread. If it's pancakes, I prepare the pancakes. If it's a muffin or a snack or something for the kids or cookies, whatever, I prepare it, and it takes time with ferments, but we always have the sourdough starter going. So it's actually quite easy. And it doesn't take a lot of time, even though it seems like it takes a lot of time because you have to keep going back to it. The truth is, it's just the way I like it, because I get to take a break from whatever it is that I am doing and give my love into food for like a couple minutes. And then I take a break from that and I go back to whatever I was doing, or I go into something else. It works really well for my ADD type brain that would normally, mean I need medications, but actually it works very well with my life. It's, these aren't, um, these are superpowers. You got to, whatever diagnosis you're given, find out where's the superpower in that, especially when it comes to mental health, because we don't need to be taking these prescription drugs. I think it's something like 73% of kids are on prescription drugs for some sort of mental health issue. I'm sure some of them are just the parents, taking the kids Adderall, but it's still, to think about it, that many kids are on drugs today. That's one of the reasons, with all those crazy side effects, that the kids aren't gonna outgrow us, that they're gonna die before we do. I don't want to see that for my friends. I don't want to see that for you. I definitely don't want to see that with my kids. I want them to grow up and keep their friends. I know what it's like to live in a village that's on water and, have friends that drowned or fall through the ice or, overdose. I've lost a lot of people in my life. I don't want that for my kids, especially not any more than that. Those are, like stupidity things. Those are choices that those people made. A lot of people don't take responsibility for their food choices, and it's really important that you do. You have to take that responsibility. The pharmaceutical industry is worth a minimum of $400 billion annually. This is even more now. That's how much Bill Gates pocketed over the vaccine alone, okay? So like we got to consider this, that like when I wrote this article, it was before any of this stuff was happening. Okay, so these are old stats that I'm saying. Things have gotten worse since then. And I'd like to think of it like a pimple finally about to burst, or like that COVID was the burst and now it's all about healing. You know, it's it's time now. We've hit that peak. Now it's time for to heal. Let's heal ourselves. So soil is like our gut. It has its own microbiome. This supports the health of the plants that growing here on Earth. And it's a fractal of our own consumption of our highly processed foods too, and the overuse of chemicals, right? If we're overusing the chemicals on our soil and now our soils are depleted of the bugs that are essentially the same microbes that now we're buying from probiotics, right? And here's another thing, right? The probiotic industry, the supplement industry is crazy. It's not very regulated. Most of the time, like if you think of any supplement that has citric acid into it, that's now made out of black mold is an um, a, like a lab grown mold, and then they make the citric acid out of it. It's not that somebody's just squirting lemon in there as a preservative. That's not what it is anymore. Okay, it's synthetic. This is not good. And nobody's talking about these kinds of things, and it's driving me crazy. Okay, like I'm glad that I have a job and a space here that I get to talk about these things, but it's really important that you guys know this. This is why I put it out for you in these ways so that you can have access to this information that is so important. All right. So again, like let's just come back to focus here. So when it comes to probiotics, it's it's only like a few of the microbes that they're using. They might say 50 billion microbes in this one capsule, this one overpriced capsule, let me add. And they'll say 50 billion and they'll list off like a few different microbes that are in there. But here's the truth, you guys, that you're going to need to go from that supplement into another probiotic. You can't stay on the same brand forever, because you need diversity, right? And they're only giving you the few that they're able to mass produce. They're not giving you everything that you need. And chances are some of it's synthetic too. Chances are it's not all from fermented foods, okay? And that is a natural alternative, is going back to fermented foods and teas. So like kombucha, a fermented tea. Some fermented foods would be sauerkraut, kimchi, sourdough bread. That's how you get the whole grains and the ferment all in one. Apple cider vinegar is another one. We do something that's called a ginger bug, where it's just fermented ginger, and the kids just love it. There's a lot of things here, and it's really important that our gut has this diversity, just like our soil needs that diversity. And when they're spraying chemical pesticides all over everything and depleting the soils, then our body's not getting the diversity it needs. Plus, not only is our immune system, that's all in our gut, and our serotonin, that's all in our gut. This is not head stuff, this is gut stuff. Okay, and when that is disrupted by the chemicals and our body can't filter those chemicals properly, and our immune system is really suffering there. And and it can cause a lot of things like leaky gut, SIBO or SIBO, whatever you guys want to call it. It causes a lot of issues. But if you're able to instead grow your own food, and you are adding compost instead of tilling your land, you're adding compost to the land, and then the microbes and worms come up to harvest, and you're doing something called companion planting, where it's a natural pest resistant ecosystem, because all the plants are working symbiotically to help grow the food, because that's what food wants to do. Food wants to reproduce. Every plant wants to reproduce. Every mushroom wants to reproduce. That's what they're here for. And we're all microbes. If we go around sanitizing everything and using these sprays and chemical compounds, we are depleting ourselves, and we're depleting our soils. It's all a fractal, and you know this is causing other things too, like in our food, right? The antibiotic resistance, because our our animals, the cows, the pigs, the chickens, they're not outside getting the sunlight like they used to. They're instead in a farm in a cage. They're unhappy. They don't get the vitamin D that they need. I even saw where they have cows, digging in dirt, living in their own shit with a freaking VR headset on. That is just insanity. That that's insanity. That is like, I really hope that humanity wakes up before that is us, is what I got to say about that. But back to the animals, they're in really harsh conditions, and because they're sick, they're given antibiotics. And now humans are becoming resistant to antibiotics and fungicides. And, these used to be potent medicines that would help us. I think the only one we got left is the Russian penicillin, which today we call garlic. You also call it poor man's penicillin, but Russian always sounds tough. So that's what I like to call it in the herbology world. All right. Yeah, we have abundance of free food and medicine growing all around us, yet we choose to poison our herbal medicine and pluck it out of our lawns, right? Like dandelions, they're growing in the lawns of the alcoholics, growing in the lawns of the people with gut health issues and liver issues. And that is free food and medicine growing for you because nature still knows that you need it. And if you're plucking out all of that stuff and you got a big gut, chances are that medicine's there for you. The girl that is trying to grow grass over the clovers, those clovers, sweetheart, those are there to help you with your hormonal issues. Chances are you have PCOS or some skin issues, and that clover is there for you. Plantain, people pull it out of the pathways. That plantain is there. We make a pretty plantain oil, and it's to like help your skin heal. There's so many things to do with plantain. Plantain can be brewed as a tea and help with congestion, lung health, things like that too. There's a lot of benefits here. For anybody on painkillers, chances are you go out for a little walk, you'll find some willow bark, or just the little willow sprouts. All that stuff is really super helpful for you. That will help with the pain, right? So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this article. I'm obviously not going to get through all of it here, but I do encourage you guys to get it. I'm going to link it in here so you guys have access. The answer here is not in the pill bottle. The answer is found growing in your garden, and no matter what you're looking for, you'll probably find it at the bottom of a smoothie glass. The energy, the stamina, the focus, the fat loss, digestion, beautiful skin, hair, longevity, whatever you want, get into the smoothie. And here's why I say smoothie and not juice. Again, it comes back to the fiber. The smoothie will have that fiber, right? The juices, that's good short term. That's good for a cleanse. That's not good all the time, every single day. You can make certain juices like a shot glass juice or different things, but you can't rely only on the juice. You need real food too. Okay, you need that fiber in your diet. You need the whole foods, and smoothies give you that. Here's another thing about smoothies. So again, you don't want to rely and have every meal be a smoothie because you're going to be like the blender. It's good to have the energy and to have that affect a little bit, but you don't want that all the time. And if you're having smoothies all the time, every meal, every day, you're going to be a vibrator, like how the blender does, right? But it's good. Another thing that I want to give to you guys here is that when we're having things like juices and smoothies, you want to keep it in your mouth for a little time. You don't just chug it back. Because you have just like we have a gut microbiome, we have a skin biome, we also have a mouth biome, and the ecosystem within our mouth is the first place where it sends all the signals to our gut, telling us what we're eating, telling us if it's foreign and how to digest it and how to prepare for the digestion. And so if you want to absorb all of the nutrients, you want your mouth to be able to tell your body what's in that. And so that means, giving it a little chew or holding it in your mouth or swishing it in your mouth. You want to give it that time. And if you're chewing meals, again, Like if this is a whole food meal and you're chewing an apple, count your chews. Make sure you're having a significant amount of chews, like 20 chews or so. Again, so that you're using your mouth microbiome to prepare your gut microbiome so that you can distribute all of those nutrients effectively so you can get the most out of that meal, especially if it's something that you're just getting your taste buds used to. It takes 2 weeks to adjust your taste buds. So if you're getting off of sugar, for example, and your mouth is used to like that blast of sugar all the time, and then you go to a root vegetable that while they are sweet to people who don't have a lot of sugar, to somebody who has a lot of sugary foods, that doesn't taste that sweet. It might taste bitter or it might taste like dirt or like whatever. I've heard a lot of things. So um, you do want to chew it and you do want to give that time and that reverence to the food and remember that it's only 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, it will taste better. In, probably tomorrow it will taste better, but in 2 weeks it will for sure taste better. So keep doing it. Chew it, tell your body what it is that you're eating. It will distribute those nutrients where they need to go a lot better. You are a part of your body's ecosystem. So you guys, you don't just eat the food and be like, my body knows what to do with it. No, be conscious with it. This is a sacred thing. It's like using a psychedelic. Your food is a natural psychedelic. Psychedelics are food. It's all one. Okay, you guys? Really important life stuff here. Some other things that I go into, like, I mean, this just goes on and on. I give you everything that you need to know about, at least like the basics. I mean, I wouldn't say it's everything you need to know. Obviously, like one of the reasons why I was asked to talk about this is because there's still a lot of stuff missing. But this is a good jumping point. And I do give, some things on the microbiome, gut health. I give you a bunch of different ways to incorporate it into your life, including like some videos and recipes too along the way. Um, I get into superfoods. I get into mushrooms, wild mushrooms, foraging mushrooms. I get into uh, crusading cravings. I did an article just on that alone. So if you guys are interested, yeah, let me know and I'll get that to you. I talk about the perfect diet. Obviously there is no perfect diet because no diet is going to work for everybody. Everybody has their own individual diet, their own diet, and that diet is going to be ever changing. And all of our bodies are different, but one thing that you can count on, and why I call this the perfect diet, is because it includes getting in all of the colors of the rainbow every single day. This is how I teach the kids how to eat properly, right? So, okay, well, what food did you have that was red today? What food did you have that was orange and yellow? What food did you have that was green? What food did you have that was blue or purple? What food did you have that was white? And once, and I mean natural white. Like I'm not meaning bread here. I mean like coconut or onion or garlic, like that family, and it really matters. It makes a big difference. And I do give you guys lots of resources. I linked my menu on there. I get into some eco thrifty hacks because I know there's like this stigma that to eat healthy it costs a lot of money and nobody can afford it and blah blah blah. But like I was just on a call with somebody yesterday that's like, "Oh, I can't afford to work with you." I was like, "Sweet, you can't afford not to work with me." Who, you showed up here for a reason, and I know you're here to work with me for a reason. So like, let's just make this happen. And then she started thinking, "Oh, well, do you know what? I can get that money together if I stop buying $30 sandwiches every day." Yeah, yes, you can. So what else can we work on here so that you can get the most value out of this program? Because the truth is, I don't charge you guys money for my programs. I love what I do so much that I would do it for free. The reason why I don't do it for free anymore, and let me tell you, I give a lot of stuff away for free, and I do still, take on some people pro bono each year, and I do offer different free things along the way, but I used to give everything out for free. And I even had the mantra inside of myself, I love what I do so much, I do it for free. I don't say that stuff to myself anymore because the people who do it for free only take little band-aid solutions. It's like they got like, a broken arm that needs surgery, and I realize, I'm just giving out a band-aid for a broken arm. It's like, no, what you need is the surgery. So let me be the surgeon and actually help you. But that meant that I needed to step up and that I had to charge money, because unless people are invested, they're not getting the most out of it. It takes them a lot longer to get results, if they even get them. And so I had to start charging. And so, like, I love it, but I want to be clear here that, the part of it is the investment, and part of it is you guys figuring out how it is you can line your money and your time with that goal that you have. And if that goal is health, awesome. That's the right goal. Because after health, you can do anything you want. After health, you can make anything happen. After health, you can get that $1,000,000. After health, you can get that dream house. After health, you can be sustainable in whatever it is that you want. That perfect business, that perfect client, whatever. But you're not going to be the best you can be if you're eating shitty food. If you're eating shitty food, then you're becoming a shitty person in a shitty body. Because your mind's not going to work to the best of its ability. You're not going to be as happy as you could be. You're definitely not going to function, have the energy that our primitive ancestors had. And they had a lot of energy and they did a lot of stuff in a day. And that's what it is that my goal is that in any of this is get back to that primitive way with today's technology, with today's resources, today's intelligence. Take all of what works today, leave what's not working, because there's a lot of stuff that's not working as well. But take what is working and combine it with what worked the best from our ancestors. And, that's where I find Eden, that one word, that place that I go back to, like in the beginning, how I brought you guys to a garden and I showed you guys the light inside of yourselves. For me, that is Eden. That's where I go anytime that I feel a trigger. I go to Eden. Anytime that I have doubts about where I'm going or what direction to take, I go to Eden. I make my decisions out of purpose, not fear. Right? And so when you're in a grocery store, make your decisions out of purpose, not pinching pennies. And the truth is, I spend a lot less money than most people. I spend very little money. If you do want to, if you do work with me, and we haven't talked about money yet, then like, let's bring this up. If you're having money issues, we'll talk about it, because there's a lot of ways that you can eat very well on a very small budget. Obviously I coached for free for a long time. I was giving my services away. That meant that I was depriving myself and my family of things so that I could help you guys. But I wasn't helping you to the best of my abilities because, you know, I was like struggling financially. That being said, I also work with people who struggle a lot more than me because they don't have the money and financial skills that I have. I know how to be sustainable. I know how to work with nothing. I know how to turn nothing into something. And I can teach that to you guys too. So if you're working with me already and this is a conversation that you want to get into, definitely bring it to the call, okay? Our next coaching call, the one-on-one, okay? If you're in our signal group and you're hearing this and you're interested in, reach out to me privately. We can work something out, okay? Even if it's just like, a one-off session to point you in the right direction so you guys can start getting results right away and get out of whatever stressful situation you're in, because I want to see you guys healthy. I want to see you guys succeed. And I'm here for the long term. I'm not going anywhere no matter how many platforms want to get rid of me. All right. All right. So last I want to end here with stop taking health advice from people who profit from you being sick. Because the truth is that doctors need to prescribe gyms, meditation, and nutritional food, and it needs to be covered by insurance. I'm not bashing doctors, but you have to take your health into your own hands. You know your body better than anyone, and what you're feeling. So keep going. I think it's really important to know here, like, doctors aren't against you. They just don't know nutrition because all their money was invested into their medical school. And their medical training is all sponsored and funded by big pharma. Whenever they're getting new courses, guess who's sponsoring those courses? Big pharma. So it's really important, you guys, like follow the money. When you're spending money, who's receiving that money? Wouldn't it be better if it was your neighbor or the farmer up the street that was receiving that money rather than the people who are benefiting from you being sick? Like, here's another thing. You guys can go really far down the rabbit hole with this. Um, go to the cancer websites, go to breast cancer website, go to the Heart and Stroke Foundation. Look at the recipes that are there. I guarantee they're not nutritious recipes because I've looked. It might have changed from when I went down this rabbit hole, but chances are, I'm guessing that they're still about the same. That they're still like the recipes are still garbage. Not nutritionally dense, not superfood. They're not teaching information about nutrition. They're just like, oh, here are some recipes. And guess what the recipes contain? Meat and dairy. Guess who sponsors and who uses those foundations? Who runs those foundations? The meat and dairy corporations. The same people who are feeding you the food to make you sick, and then they filter all their money into these foundations that so now they're earning money from your donation. So now you're paying them for shitty ass food that's making you sick. You're paying them money at the grocery stores, that extra dollar to give to the Heart and Stroke Foundation. And, like you're just give, give, give. And all the money is being pocketed into the same person that wants to make you sick. So I don't know, you guys, like there's a lot of conspiracies out there. This is not a conspiracy. This is real life, and this is your responsibility. So, like, I know a lot of fears come up around change, and what's important to remember, I think, is that you need to make your decisions from purpose, not from the fear, and to know that change is inevitable. Change is what it's all about. Mama Nature changes all the time. We change. Even if you don't want to change your mindset, even if you don't want to grow with your body's still growing and aging. Your body's still changing every 7 years. It's just now you're out of alignment with your body. So what does that do? That sets you back. So change is a good thing. And make your decisions from fear. I mean, make your decisions from purpose, not from fear. And change is a good thing. All right, you guys. I do have to go. I would love to talk more about responsibility around the seeds that I purchased because I'm starting all my sprouting on February 2nd, but I guess I'll be able to talk to you next week about that. I love you all so much. I'll link this article as well as whatever else I got around these topics in today's post or underneath in the description, okay? I love you all so much. I'll talk to you soon. I love you.